Hey folks, it's late afternoon, 5:22 p.m. on the 30th of September 2017, and I think I'm day 13 easy mode, but I'm back on day 0 hard mode. Mostly just boredom and the anxiety I got over last night without having any sort of looking at stuff, but um, I've had an interesting week, not necessarily in a good way. Thursday I had that exam, but I decided to take the 0 on the exam and just have that be my drop, with the understanding, to myself that I'm putting my foot down at this point and some more mucking around because honestly, like the reason I wasn't prepared for it and wasn't feeling like going in was uh, that I fundamentally let myself get so dang distracted with all this emotional garbage that I ended up making a bunch of poor decisions in terms of studying and such, and I didn't see myself getting a decent grade, and it would have been like putting in a lot of effort for very little return at that point. But all that being said, my plan from here on out for that OCAM 2 class. Oh, by the way, like he does drop one exam, so that'll be my dropped exam, and then the exam grade gets replaced by your homework grade. So I also have to make sure I get all my homework done by the end of the semester, and then have the best grade on that. Um, but as far as that class is concerned, um, not only will I be doing reading the chapters and that sort of stuff, but I feel that taking his notes, he's put up his old notes and he has his the new stuff that I'll be putting up. Taking that stuff, extracting all the reactions from that, and then doing those a bazillion times over, is the best way because OChem 2 is just basically reaction mechanisms. And I got a C minus last time just doing problems out of the book, so maybe I can get a better grade this time doing something else. Um, but also at this point, just not being distracted and obviously showing up for the exam. Other than that, see, last night I went to the chemical engineering club room. I just sat there and I did get some work done. Um, but I have an exam coming up on the 5th in one of those two retake classes. And I know I'm retaking OChem too, but that was a class that I passed. I'm just retaking it for a higher grade, not just retaking it to pass it to begin with. So, um, but anyways, I did get a bunch. I did get some work done. I read a chapter out of this textbook, and then I got um, a homework problem done. Have to get another one done today. But one of the things that happened this week, and it was a sort of like strange encounter because I figured out where the IQ room was, their chemical engineering club room was, and I had this sort of understanding, again that I needed to have a access code to the door. But as it turns out, like right now, they're not requiring it. I will have to, get my hands on that eventually, apply for that. But I went and walked over there and just, walked in and, of course there are people there. It's, the chemical engineering club room and I know them and felt a little bit awkward. The girl was there and she was talking to this other guy who, I'm friends with. But her, like, body language was kind of weird because it's like, I did make a video about this earlier, but I just kind of felt a bit awkward to put that up. But it was like, like he'd be sitting here, like, facing this direction and she was standing to his right, facing that way, talking to him. I walk in, I see him. I recognize him. I didn't really have much of a sort of connection with the other folks there. I knew them, but I knew him better, so I went and walked up to him and talked to him. But I made it kind of a point to, essentially ignore the girl when I'm around her. I don't interact with her, so I talked to him for a little bit. He was like, "Oh, how's it going? How's it, you hanging in there?" And I said something along the lines of, "Yeah, I'm, hanging in there, just getting through classes, that sort of thing." Um, and then that conversation ended. I went to the row in front of him, sat down, turned back this way, kind of basically, like, kind of not exactly facing him per se, but I guess in a sense I was facing the girl. But I pretended like she basically wasn't there. Like I looked, then looked down at my, bag. But when I looked, I guess again I didn't like focus in on her or anything like that. So then I started taking my stuff out, putting it on the desk, getting set up, getting going, and it's weird because like she'd been facing him, and then she turned with like her back facing myself. It kind of like it's like she was looking over her shoulder, which is, I mean, she could have been looking at him for all I know, but that was kind of a bit odd of a moment there. But then I just started getting to work, and the uh, the weird thing beyond all that stuff, and it's my it could be my male ego. I want to be like, oh yeah, it's because I was there. She's actually really into me. It could be that sort of thing, and I have that kind of an effect. But but it was like 5 to 10 minutes after that, she just kind of left in a huff. Like I don't remember if I saw her look at her phone, or maybe she got a message from her folks or something, and she had to leave, or she was annoyed about that, or maybe it was myself. I really don't know, but she like left really quickly after that, which left me kind of confused in a sense. Like, wait, did I do something? Like was she expecting me to talk to her, or like interact with her or something? And I didn't. Like, because she has acted like that to a certain extent when I've been around. Like just kind of like, is he gonna talk to me? That sort of a deal. And I kind of getting like annoyed or so. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it was her folks saying you need to be home, now, and her going, oh, I gotta be home now. Why, But that happened, and I actually haven't seen her since. Which, as much as like I make these videos where I talk about her or I talk about the girlfriend, and oh, I'm so concerned. It's like, part of me is like really glad when I don't see her, or if my girlfriend's just chill about things and not really interacting, because it's like, you know, it would just be more anxiety and distraction and such. And one thing I did, and I don't necessarily know if I want to talk about it because it might decrease the effectiveness of it, but well, I'm going to be vague about it. I went through a magic operation, so to speak. Cast my intent in an attempt to essentially affect the way things have been going. Probably going to do some more castings later on, some more specific stuff. But that's what I did, and it kind of ties in with the whole girl and the girlfriend stuff, because basically I don't want any more distractions, and I want my mind to be shaped in such a manner that I'm just focused on what should be my real goal, because at the end of the day, it's whether you're working out to get in good shape, or you're trying to get those good grades, or get that degree, or you're applying for those jobs, or whatever the case may be. It's almost like, I mean, well, it really is like, you ignore the women and you focus on the other things, and because of the way things are, because of the fact that, if you're in that top whatever percent of all men in terms of looks, status, resources or wealth, social skills, whatever it is, intelligence, that kind of deal, physical, mental strength, whatever. Because if you're in that top percentage, you naturally attract the women. It just happens because you have what they're looking for. And they go for those top guys. And whether I stay with the girlfriend, maybe get married, and she's been kind of antsy lately about stuff, but whether I stay with her or I break up with her and the other girl becomes my girlfriend, or whatever, even if I end up alone, the reality is like the stuff that's going to make the most effect is me taking care of this other stuff, and it may not seem like it, and it's not exciting. It's, in many cases, it's anxiety inducing, and the material itself is interesting, but the long hours, the hard work, the dedication it takes, that's boring. I to be honest with you, and it's something that I haven't really wanted to face up to, but it's kind of like you're working on a sculpture. You have your big block of marble, or you're a carpenter and you got your chunk of wood or whatever, and you're having to whittle away at it. The actual like the actual process of making that marble sculpture without cracking the marble, too much, or carving that wood into whatever it is you're trying to make. That process can be boring, nerve-wracking, um, and downright annoying. But it's like the end result you're aiming at. You're aiming at making that beautiful marble sculpture. You're aiming at making um, that that table or um, that desk or that drawer or whatever you're trying to make. And it's like that whole holding on to your vision deal. You have to hold on to that vision, whatever it is that you're working at. And admittedly, other than the anxiety parts, like I'd have to be honest, like it's something that like as a guy waiting till marriage, I've gotten this question: how do you deal with it? Aren't you horny all the time? Doesn't it drive you crazy? And there are times that it kind of does get to me. It's the same thing with being on Nofap, especially like right now, day zero hard mode. I haven't fapped in any way, shape, or form to one extent or another, but uh, in part due, just seeing the girl, seeing pictures of my girlfriend, um, looking at what I've looked at, that sort of stuff. It is really like stoking the fire a bit, and even without that, I say yesterday, even without that, because it was like I'd gone through 12 days easy mode, and I think I hadn't looked at any porn or porn subs per se, other than listening to like lucid, wet dream music, that sort of stuff, or binaural beats, which in and of itself, like I've stayed away from the really explicit stuff, the stuff that's basically like they took the audio track of a porn film and then mixed it with some other stuff. Like I stayed away from that stuff, but in and of itself, the stuff I've been listening to is not per se stimulating. It just kind of puts you to sleep, puts you into that sort of mode. And if you're already, dealing with anxiety, you've been on Nofap for so long, you're downright horny. You fall into that sleep mode. Well, what do you think you're gonna dream about? Um, and dealing with a chaser effect from that one wet dream, all this stuff combined, it's like, admittedly, I am feeling that lust, those urges, those desires, and I had to be honest. Like, if that girl or my girlfriend like offered me sex, like I don't think at 31 I probably couldn't turn it down. I've gone through enough of the whole sort of like the regrets of turning down opportunities. Like I know when I was like 21 or younger, 19 to 21, because of my like workout routine, because I was in this Navy RTC program, because I did fasting during Ramadan, I would end up losing like 10 to 20 pounds, in that period, and I would look, like Kid Harington looks. I would look like that. I had that physique, and because I had that physique where I was like very little body fat, decent amount of muscle, mostly from doing calisthenics and cardio. Um, like the girls were all over me, but in part because of waiting until marriage vows, and partially because, to be honest with you, like beyond all the moralizing about waiting until marriage, the thing for me really is that if I was gonna have sexual relations with a woman, it would be because I was in love with her, like genuinely, truly in love with her, and it'd be me giving this gift of of that pleasure to her, and me like striving to be the best at that so that I could give her that pleasure. And in my mind, if I'm that in love with a given woman, why not get married to her first? Like, what do I have to lose if I am truly madly in love with her and she's truly madly in love with me? You gotta have that mutual feeling. So if that's the case, if they were truly in love, why not get married first? What's there to fear? In a sense, if you truly are in love. So I would never go for that with them because I didn't feel that way about them. You know, they were girls I knew. Maybe they were cute, maybe they weren't, what have you, but many of them, ironically enough, got into me because of the fact that I am, you know, I'm not some player, and I never was, and I haven't been, you know. And it's almost like, ironically enough, like they knew how to please a player, but they didn't know how to, for lack of a better way of putting it, please or satisfy or lock down someone who wasn't like that, you know. So they would end up turning me off to them because of that kind of behavior. Of course, I still regret it in some ways because, you know, especially looking back, you know, hindsight's 2020. I realized like what was really up with them, and you know that they were into me, but they didn't really know how to express that to a guy like myself because apparently guys like me are very rare, or maybe not. I don't know. You know, it's like this again, the male ego. You want to feel like you're rare, like you're the exception, and maybe you are, maybe you aren't. But getting back to the present, I think the big message or realization that I have right now is that all these other things, the stuff that causes me anxiety, the stuff that I really should be focusing on and going for, that's really, ironically enough, the key to success and happiness for myself. And you know, beyond any highfalutin dreams. I know in the past I talked about the whole astronaut going to outer space deal. I know I've talked about, maybe not in recent times, but you know, I've talked about Jack Parsons and emulating him and so on. But fundamentally, in terms of my biological and psychological needs, you know, the irony is, let me show you guys my little schedule, my little calendar. The irony is this stuff, that has to be taken care of if I truly want to be happy. And that's part of the struggle in life. One of the reasons why I ended up turning to magic. Yeah, I have a bunch of bags of recyclables out back there. But it's one of the reasons I turned to magic because, you know, I want to get to those things that are going to make me happy and fulfilled, and I need to clear all these distractions out of the way. And things like PMO have been really addicting because, again, they make you feel like you've gotten to that point already when you really haven't. And so yeah, what am I gonna do today? Let's see, it's coming up on 6 p.m. I haven't eaten all day. I slept. I slept until noon. I got woken up by an alarm at 8:30, but slept until noon. Then I slept until about 3:30 p.m. or so. And I had some like really like strange dreams. Like it was a mix of like Game of Thrones fandom slash like nostalgia because I realized that the series is basically over, you know. So something I'm kind of feeling because I really became a big fan of the whole series and they're ending at season 8, so I kind of had a dream about that. It was a mix of that plus like the whole deal with you know the girlfriend and the girl in question. Um, just sending some messages out to the girlfriend. that's it. But anyways, it's like I saw her, I saw the girl. There was like this sort of like romantic occurrence. I mean, I think it was almost like in my dream I was kind of fulfilling my romantic like fantasies of sort. But of course, you wake up and you're faced with reality, and so I had a sort of like sadness to it all, like almost like a feeling like I thought I had escaped, from the humdrum of my life, and then was back to this existence. But since then, I just kind of been laying in my room. I got up and actually, it might not look like it, but it was really a mess earlier. I mean, it's still kind of a mess to a certain extent. I really want to put in some shelves and get this stuff, gone, moved out of the way, that sort of deal. But um, cleaned it up, organized it a bit, swept, wiped down the floor. But I think I have a couple things I need to get still. But it's basically been my day. And as you get to the times like this, and you feel like going and getting food would be wasting time, or so because it's that late in the day. But then yesterday, most of the day, I spent getting paperwork like filled out or actually like signed off, and I had to go find my like advisor, and then I had to go try to meet with the department head, and like he was really annoyed with me, I guess, because I showed up and was like, oh, he's like, you come in at the last minute, you want me to send this off, I need time to review this, I got 240 emails ahead of you, all that kind of stuff. And so I had to leave, and I was like, okay, that sort of thing, and I left. But um, I did get the signature I needed. I at least needed one signature on there, and I got the copy of that to the financial aid, so I was cleared with that. Then the rest of the day, I went to that engineering room, club room, and I just like got the work done that I was able to get done. So, and I think I'm gonna have to rewrite my to-do list for the day and for the entire week, because I got this whole business planner from my dad. It's like with his official like company logo, because he works for LG. But yeah, he's an engineer. But I'll have to rewrite that because I need to be a bit more reasonable in what I'm getting done each day. It's a good thing that I'm finally doing a to-do list, which I should have started off with this at the beginning of the semester. Um, but anywho, you see, like I have this stuff written down, and I'm thinking like, oh, I'm gonna read this entire chapter one day, and it's like a 50-page chapter on bioprocess engineering, like enzymes and that sort of stuff, and that's way too much to try to get done in a single day. But I also want to rewrite notes. I want to get some class problems done. I got things to do. So I'm gonna log off now, and I'm not sure if I should have mentioned where my dad works, because I don't think this thing's gonna get too big. But there's also there's a fears of like it's not so much like anything sort of Hollywood-esque, horror film type stuff, but um, I sort of fear of repercussions. Like, oh, if somebody finds my videos and they know, and they know who I am, and they know who my father is, and it kind of ends up backfiring on them, because of this channel I talk about a lot of private issues, because it's kind of like self-therapy for myself. But I really don't think that's going to happen. And I haven't given my full name, I haven't given my dad's name, and I haven't given anybody else's name, privacy wise, so it shouldn't be an issue. But yeah, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Let's see, I'm gonna rewrite these lists. That's one little thing I'm gonna do. Need to be a bit more realistic in my aims, and I'm going to take a cold shower. I need to find some stuff to wear. I think I have some clothes to wear, but my laundry's kind of backed up as it is. It's this whole like sort of effect of like being backed up emotionally with the girl and the girlfriend, all that kind of stuff, and then like that kind of rippling out into other things, like backed up with my laundry, backed up with my studies. But yeah, so list, cold shower, um, all the other stuff, getting dressed, that sort of deal, and kind of split 50-50 on whether or not to go out. I probably will go out to the library. Yeah, I think I'll just assume that they're open. If they have a 24/7 policy still in place, because if I can just go there, go to the silent floor, 7th floor, set myself up there, and since I have that exam coming up, I'm going to do some class problems. I'm going to try and get another homework problem done, and there's 4 homework problems done for this homework assignment, which is itself due on Tuesday, so I already have 1 down. Just need to get 3 more done, and I'll be done with that assignment. So I think those are the 3 things. I really, really need to get back to working. I need to do some cardio and calisthenics. I'm not really sure. I mean, I could just drop down right now and do 20 push-ups or 10, 20 push-ups, that sort of deal. Which, let's see. I think I should do something with that. Cardio takes the most time because I go running like a mile and a half, and then I do another mile and a half, and I walk in between. So that's about an hour and a half of cardio, usually, if not more. So those are the things that I really need to get done today, and I'm gonna go for those. So I do have this book on the side that I've been reading. It does help me with reading books on like life philosophy and such. It kind of initiates certain thought patterns, and that kind of gets me looking at things differently. Like I read the 40 Laws of Power. That changed a lot of my perspective on life and just emotions and emotional states, and kind of examining my actions, and trying to learn from my mistakes. So there's that, and 33 Strategies of War. I recommend those 2 books, both by Robert Greene. So it's 40 Laws of Power, 33 Strategies of War. And with that, I'm going to close out now and get on with things. So thanks for watching. I'm going to upload this right after I finish recording. So thanks for watching, and I hope this helps someone out there. Definitely helping myself. Self-therapy wise. So anywho, I'll see you folks around. Bye.